I'm John Shumway. We're back out on Route 30 again, where they unfortunately had to go ahead and close the eastbound lanes. That happened about 1:25 or so this afternoon. And so now this section of Route 30 between Electric Avenue and the Westinghouse Bridge is shut down in both directions, and it's going to be that way for a while. Let me tell you what's happened overnight and why they decided to go ahead and shut things down. The fact is, this is a very active slide. It is still moving. It is still dropping. The overall area here that is damaged dropped somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 8 inches more just overnight. Let me try and show you a couple of pictures to give you an idea of what we're looking at. Right here alongside the road, you can see what I call it a fissure. You want to call it something that looks like an earthquake. You can see where the hillside is actually separating from the road, and you've got those big cuts that drop down. I mean, we're talking several inches. I mean, this cut right here, which was under the guardrail at one point, is now, I don't know, that's probably a good 1.5 feet deep as far as the cut. The guide rail, as you can see, they've dropped down. And the reason they dropped that guide rail down is because they're going to start bringing heavy equipment in here tomorrow, and they're going to start taking all of this out. They're going to take out all the trees. They're going to dig down. They're going to get the movement stabilized is the idea. Let me show you one other example of how this thing has fallen overnight. You might remember yesterday they brought in the concrete to try and reinforce that lone eastbound lane and kind of be able to keep that open. Well, take a look at that concrete now. You see the crack? When they poured it, this concrete was on a level with the driving lane. You can see how it's dropped. Let me just walk along it. And in fact, you get up here a little bit further, and you can really see where it has created a void underneath that eastbound lane where the concrete has settled overnight. Again, more of a drop. And yesterday I showed you this big gap between the eastbound and westbound lanes, and I had to stick the phone down in there in order to be able to show you the gap. But we don't need to stick any phones down in it now. It is really huge, and it is really showing up exactly how this right-hand side of the road especially is falling away on the hillside. Now, the big concern at this point is how far this is going to go. Down the hillside there is a retaining wall, and it's probably about 40 or 50 feet down the hillside from where we are. Now, you can't see it from here, unfortunately. I wish I could show it to you, but that thing is now leaning out at an angle about 3 feet out. The concern is that could collapse. And if it does, it's going to send a lot of this hillside into the Electric Avenue apartments down below. So several of the Electric Avenue apartment buildings, now there are multiple buildings in this complex, several of them they've decided to, as a precaution, evacuate and get those folks to a hotel until they can get this figured out. But what we're talking about here is a long-term thing. How long, we don't know at this point. There are a lot of questions to be answered this afternoon, and hopefully I'll have a lot of those answers for you tonight on KDKA-TV News at 5 and 6. Let me show you one more picture before we go here. This is the right-hand westbound shoulder is what I'm standing on. Let me just turn the camera around and show you what I'm seeing. That is what used to be the shoulder of the road. And you can see there's the asphalt from the shoulder, how far it's dropped. You can see actually there's a drain in there. That's what that is. That's where water goes down in. And I mean, that probably gives you a better idea than anything just how much droppage we've had out here on Route 30. So the road's completely closed at this point. It's still moving. They're working on it. And how long this is going to take, it's anybody's guess, but it won't be quick. We'll have more on for you tonight at 5 and 6 o'clock on KDKA-TV News. I'll see you then.